Hello, everyone. My name is Zachary Gomez, or Zach, either way. And I'm going to be covering leadership styles today. All right, let's get started. So, the first, so what are leadership styles? That's what we'll cover first. Leadership, by definition, is the action of leading a group or an organization. It could even be a coworker who kind of has put themselves in that role too. I know we've all kind of worked with people like that. And there is many various styles. However, we are just going to cover three, and that is the autocratic leadership style, democratic leadership style, and laissez-faire leadership style. I did have to look up to see how you say that word, but and you can see I put this little picture on here. It's kind of like a leadership cloud, and it shows skills and communication and power, teamwork, all things that a good leader really embodies in their everyday work. All right. So let's start with the first one, which is autocratic leadership. So autocratic leadership is often referred to as authoritarian leadership. So authoritarian leaders, or autocratic leadership, as we've learned it, typically they are the ones who are making the decisions. They do not solicit any advice from anyone. They don't want help. They are kind of the ones that are like, well, this is how we're doing it, and that's it. It's that very much my way or the highway way of thinking. Historically speaking, certain political leaders in our past, I saw pictures of Hitler and pictures of Stalin, tyrants, and they're the ones who are usually leading in this type of way, as we saw historically. So autocratic leadership tends to be the least commonly used style of leadership. This is because it was used a long time ago. I did see something that said prior to the 1970s, it was one of the most popular, actually, ways of leading. And now, in my personal opinion, I don't think that newer generations would respond well to this style. So when does autocratic leadership work best? So it works best in like restaurants, manufacturing. If you think about it, in a restaurant, everything has to be a well-oiled machine. You have the waiters taking the orders, they go back, they take it to the cooks go out, the waiters take the food. It's all timed, it's important, and it needs to be. So the leader in that role can't just be like, well, let's talk about it, or it's go, go, go. And with manufacturing, it's the same way. Let's take a car company, for instance. If you're making a car, really it could be a deadly mistake if you are not careful. So those leaders are definitely important, taking on that autocratic way of thinking. And I also put a couple examples of a few famous autocratic leaders, so Julius Caesar and Steve Jobs. So democratic leadership is, by definition, really it's the opposite of autocratic. A democratic leader is someone who is willing to be with everyone. They're, as I like to say, in the trenches. They're not doing anything, which is my personal motto, is I would not do anything or ask my employees to do anything that I would not be willing to do myself. And that's what I feel a democratic leader is. So who makes the decisions? Really, it's everyone. The democratic leader allows his coworkers and also direct reports, as I like to call them, and employees, anyone in their work group can make decisions with them. The democratic leader is just there to kind of guide the group and to kind of, they do make the final decision. A democratic leader does make the final decision, but they like to have say from everybody, which is good. So this style of leadership is typically used by any organization, business, or schools. So when does the democratic style work best? Amongst a skilled group of workers, because it's important, because if you don't have a skilled group of workers, then that group environment isn't going to thrive the best. A leader who has the ability to guide a conversation, very important. You got to have that leader who's going to still take charge, but also be able to guide the conversation and keep everyone on track. And like I said before, it does work for any organization. So that's good. So the last one that we're going to cover is the laissez-faire leadership. So what does that mean, laissez-faire? It means basically to let things run on its own. and don't interfere otherwise. That's what those type of managers do. I put this little caption here, the little picture over here, because laissez-faire, it's got the little manager saying, I trust you, because that's what is pretty much this whole thing is based on, is trust. This type of leader gives the group complete control and basically just takes a step back. This definitely differs from the democratic style, just because the leader does not participate in the group discussions and then does not really help in the group. So they're pretty much completely separated and then just make an appearance when asked. This type of leader also does not provide any type of feedback unless it's solicited by someone in the work group first. So like I said before, lastly, trusting in the worker's abilities is very important for this one. So when does laissez-faire work best? It works, again, with skilled workers in a skilled work group and also a trusting leader. The leader has got to trust the people, but at some point that leader has to have trained them to get them to where they need to be. So I also would hope that that type of training does happen with that. And I did put this little leadership tip on here because people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad leaders. And if a laissez-faire leader is too far gone from the work group, I do think that employees would see that as a negative. So in conclusion, there's many different types of leaders. Leaders should be adaptable to their work groups, and they should also learn who their employees are. Really, with a lot of these, with the exception of autocratic, it is important to learn who your employees are. So you can see in the caption on autocratic, it says, do this, and it's pointing. That's it. That's as far as that goes with the leader. The leader tells them what to do. Laissez-faire is do this or that as you see fit. Laissez-faire kind of just lets them do their own thing. A democratic leader says, what do you think? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say think. What do you think we should do? And that's kind of creating conversation. It shows the arrows going back and forth, which is important. And that wraps up pretty much everything. The last little bit I got here is my works cited. I got 3 different sources that are cited here. If you have any questions, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Just reach out to me. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.